say. And I have this little clip from this guy's YouTube that I saw, and it touched on a subject of something I've actually been thinking about on and off with all of this, just around the election and all that. So we're gonna watch that, and then I'll tell you what I think.
I just got done arguing with somebody inside of my DMs about how they're angry at me. They said I deserve to die. They said my dad deserves to have cancer. It's like a whole thing. They were very mad at me. And I said, this doesn't really help your cause. It's not really going to convince me to join your cause if you get mad at me. That's not how it works. You can't be mad at me, tell me I'm a bad person, and have me be on your side. That's not how it works. You can't insult me and have me die for you. That's ridiculous. That doesn't. Has it worked for anybody?
So I totally agree with this, and I don't know how to make things better, to tell you the truth, because we're dealing with a lot of big issues in the world right now, especially in America. But one of the things I've thought about is I had some bad things that happened to me as a child. And I talked about it with my therapist and all that. And then I wanted to bring it up with my parents, and we talked about the fact that there's a good chance, bring this up to my parents, that they're not going to respond in a positive way because they may feel guilt. And often when someone feels, in fact, in general, when people feel guilt or shame, they don't respond well. But nonetheless, so wanting to talk about this thing about being a child and these bad things that happened. And, it wasn't, my parents weren't involved, but it was other people, some bad babysitter things. And I realized that I wasn't going to be able to have the conversation that I wanted with parents unless I take the space to allow them to not feel the shame and the be embarrassed. Like, they need to have the space to be able to have that conversation, to be able to heal in that way. I had to take, as a person with a higher emotional IQ, I had to take on that space. I don't know if that could tie into all this, but that is the sort of thing I was thinking about and then trying to put together. And then I saw this and I was like, oh, I feel like that also ties into this whole thing I've been thinking about. Similarly to transactional communication, I think it's called, or something, involving being like two adults will have a conversation where they're interested and not aggressive, and they're listening and asking questions even if they're not agreeing. But we have these problems where we can't communicate properly when it turns into like this, like when there's like attacking on one side and etc. Like, really, just any sort of attacking tends to make things worse, even though it's totally legitimate. A lot of these like angry feelings, and like there's a lot, like, I do, like, it's okay to punch, like, they are not, like, no, they're not, like, they're not American. And so I guess to like sum it all back up together, like, no one is going to respond well to anything when they're being attacked. And even though it's not fair, the person with the high emotional IQ often needs to do the extra heavy lifting to help someone with a lower emotional IQ, but also you can't argue with somebody to see another person as a human, right? Like that. So that's where I don't really know where to go. I do believe that a lot of people are redeemable, and there are people who are maybe not making the best choices or haven't made the best choices recently, that maybe and have the ability to become better and to make better choices, as long as the space is left for them, and that open space is left. And it's not fair, and it sucks, but I think it's like one's responsibility as a higher emotional IQ person. And now they're gonna shovel outside my house, so I guess I'm gonna end it here. Bye.
Bye.